Following Real Madrid's game against Levante, Julián Calero said that Real Madrid's counter-pressing under Xabi Alonso has improved significantly. He described Real Madrid as a much more aggressive team without the ball than previous seasons, and they were able to shut down Levante's counterattacks due to their heightened defensive awareness. One of the things that Xabi Alonso has stressed as one of the most important things for Real Madrid going forward is a collective commitment to win the ball. Many of Real Madrid's goals this season have come from the team winning the ball high up the pitch and creating high-quality goal-scoring opportunities. Kylian Mbappé, despite having worked under some of the best managers in his career, including Luis Enrique, Carlo Ancelotti, Thomas Tuchel, Unai Emery, none of them were able to get him to press the ball the way he's pressing the ball under Xabi Alonso. In Real Madrid's last match against Levante, Real Madrid dominated possession with 62%. In Real Madrid's clash against Espanyol, Real Madrid dominated possession with 72%. Real Madrid is dominating the ball, they're dominating the play, and they're forcing their opposition deeper into their defensive half. And so one of the things Real Madrid struggled with in their first few games under Xabi Alonso, with being such a ball-dominant team, is Real Madrid didn't have solutions on how to beat deep blocks. But over the last few games, we've seen many different solutions that Xabi Alonso has instituted, including shooting from long range. We've seen Eder Militao, Kylian Mbappé shooting from long range. When teams look to press Real Madrid and try to take the game to them, Real Madrid, of course, is still deadly in transition with the likes of Kylian Mbappé and Vinícius. And so teams, whether they try to sit in their own half, they're forced every single time whenever they do have possession to face Real Madrid's counter-pressing, which has become so aggressive that they turn over the ball in very dangerous positions, and Real Madrid's then in on goal in positions where they can score opportunities. But when teams try to win the ball high up the pitch and they're in Real Madrid's half, they open themselves up to these transition opportunities where Real Madrid is now so deadly in those transitions. So whether you try to press the ball or you sit in a deep block, teams are now finding it so difficult to face this current Real Madrid side. And what we've seen from Xabi Alonso is that he wants to institute a lot of squad rotation. So even when we've seen Alvaro Carreras at center back, or we've seen Tchouaméni not in the lineup, whether we've seen Fede Valverde form a double pivot like we saw against Levante, or if we see Arda play higher up the pitch, or if we play with a 4-3-3 formation, the concepts remain the same because it's less about a rigid system and it's more about concepts and control, dominating the play, winning the ball back, being aggressive without the ball. And that's something we've seen Xabi Alonso institute in such a short period of time. And that's why Real Madrid is currently with 7 wins, 0 defeats, and 0 draws. By the way, if you guys are new here, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up because it helps me a ton. One of the things that we're seeing under Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid is that what Xabi Alonso wants to institute is versatility. Versatility in the squad players, versatility in the system, to be able to shape shift depending on the opposition, to be able to go to a back 3 or to stay in a back 4. But the overwhelming concepts that keep coming up more and more, regardless of the opposition, is being aggressive without the ball and counter-pressing. And that's something we're seeing under Xabi Alonso, is there's a collective commitment to win the ball back against the opposition. And this is something that's led by none other than Kylian Mbappé, a player that we never used to see press the ball. And as Real Madrid fans, it was very difficult to see because oftentimes you would see Kylian Mbappé just sort of jogging on the pitch, not making an effort to win the ball back, but it's actually now him that's leading the pressing. And so he's oftentimes the trigger for the press. He's making that initial press, and then you're seeing Vinícius and others on the pitch pressing the ball as well. And that's why now Kylian Mbappé is described as a silent leader, is because Kylian Mbappé isn't a player who's going to be yelling at his teammates, but he is going to be the player who leads by example. Because in moments where we've seen Real Madrid in this season be in difficult moments, it's been Kylian Mbappé who stepped up to help the team regain control of the matches. Whether it was the game against Levante, where Levante scored a goal against Real Madrid, it was Kylian Mbappé who went to the other side of the pitch and earned a penalty. You can make an argument that this is potentially Kylian Mbappe's best season so far. We're only a few games into the season, only 7, but his performances so far this season have been nothing less than spectacular. His decisiveness, his sharpness, but not just how good it's been in terms of being decisive and finishing his opportunities, but what he's been doing off the ball has been nothing less than phenomenal. But the truth is, one of the players who has really helped Kylian Mbappé be very decisive and sharp this season has been Arda Güler as well. With the absence of Jude Bellingham, Arda has played in that position right behind Kylian Mbappé. Oftentimes, it would be Kylian and Arda pressing the two center backs, where we would form a front four with Franco Mastantuono, who's now come into the lineup pressing the ball high up the pitch. And what that has meant for Real Madrid is, with them pressing the ball high up the pitch, they're able to convert that pressing into high-quality chances in front of goal. And what we're seeing from Kylian Mbappé is he's been very decisive in taking his opportunities. But this raises questions now about what will Real Madrid look like with the return of Jude Bellingham and Camavinga. Because when Jude Bellingham came onto the pitch in his first match of the season, he played right behind Kylian Mbappé and Rodrygo, forming a diamond formation in midfield. And so what we've seen with Jude Bellingham under Carlo Ancelotti and under Xabi Alonso in the Club World Cup, Jude Bellingham is a player who's utilized right behind the forwards. But given how well Franco Mastantuono has been playing so far, Franco is not only an excellent player on the ball, which is very evident whenever you do see him combine with teammates to be able to break deep blocks with those 1-2 passes. But the thing is with Franco Mastantuono is he offers you so much without the ball. When you look at how aggressive Franco Mastantuono is in winning the ball back, helping Real Madrid recover it, you can understand why Xabi Alonso was so adamant on signing Franco Mastantuono. And according to different reports, Xabi Alonso reportedly told Franco that he would be a starter at Real Madrid. And whether those reports are true or not, it's kind of hard to believe because of all the quality players that are available within the squad. But one thing that is clear is Franco Mastantuono is now ahead of the pecking order of Brahim Diaz, a player, Brahim Diaz, last season who was so instrumental to Real Madrid's success. But the thing is with Franco Mastantuono, yes, he's so good on the ball. But what he does off the ball in terms of being aggressive winning the ball back for Real Madrid, it's that which brings so much balance to this team currently. When you think of being aggressive without the ball and counter-pressing and winning the ball back, you think of players like Franco Mastantuono who are so critical to that. But it was always the assumption that Franco Mastantuono would come out of the lineup as soon as Jude Bellingham was back, and Real Madrid would then form some sort of diamond formation with Arda Güler forming a double pivot with Tchouaméni in possession and Fede Valverde obviously being in the midfield as well. That was always the assumption. But to see Franco Mastantuono starting ahead of Rodrygo, even though he's 18 years old and Rodrygo is a 2-time Champions League winner, that has been surprising of Xabi Alonso, to be honest. But when you look at the fact that it was Xabi Alonso who was very adamant on signing Alvaro Carreras, and now we cannot question how good of a quality player he is. Not only at left back, but the performance that he had at center back, breaking a record set by Sergio Ramos. The fact that he could play at center back opens up so many opportunities for Real Madrid, because now they can play with a back three, they can play with Alvaro Carreras, still obviously at left back. But if Real Madrid is in a match where they need to play Carreras at center back, you know that that's a good option. But I can't help but notice that Dean Howson in our last match looked like he was a lot more comfortable playing as a left center back than a right center back. Some of his long range passing felt a little short, but then again, the conditions of the pitch was very poor. So it's very hard to draw conclusions from that based on how poor quality the pitch was. But one of the things we have to appreciate about Xabi Alonso is the squad rotation, because we saw Dani Carvajal and Eder Militao come out of the starting lineup. That's something you'd be hard-pressed to see under Carlo Ancelotti. After the game, Xabi Alonso said that he wanted to incorporate more squad rotation, and that's why he wanted Dani Carvajal and Eder Militao to both get rest in this match, because these are not players that can play game in, game out, and then potentially suffer injuries. And you cannot help but appreciate that, because this is the kind of things that's going to help us get across the finish line. Because now Dani Carvajal and Eder Militao are theoretically ready for the clash against Atletico Madrid. You have to say, in such a short period of time, Xabi Alonso has improved Real Madrid in a significant way. It has only been 7 matches so far this season, but you're already seeing a clear identity by this football team. When you're hearing the opposition managers say that Real Madrid has become such a difficult team to face, you cannot counterattack them. They're so aggressive without the ball. They stifle you. They win the ball back. You're seeing Real Madrid with 72%, 62% possession. All I can say is Xabi Alonso, in such a short period of time, has changed my life. The grass is greener. The sky is bluer. And I just feel much more happy. You're already seeing many questions in his press conferences about minutes given to the players. Whenever Vinícius doesn't start a game, we have those questions that come up in the press conference. Where is Vinícius? Where's Rodrygo? Why are you playing Dean Howson, Tchouaméni, Alvaro Carreras every game, but you're dropping other players? There's going to be many questions of Xabi Alonso in the press. And one thing you have to say about Carlo Ancelotti is he knew how to manage those press conferences and not say the wrong thing to not draw attention to the team in a negative way. He had a good relationship with the journalists and he didn't have the media turning against him. And although Real Madrid is currently with 7 wins, no losses, and no draws so far this season, going to be as important for him to be able to manage the media, say the right things, and manage the squad properly as well. Because although there's no question he's a master tactician and he knows what he's doing in terms of setting up his team to win football matches, the position of being the Real Madrid manager is about managing the institution of Real Madrid. It's a political position. And so that is going to be another big test for Xabi Alonso being the Real Madrid manager. And that's yet to be seen. I'm going to be doing a tactical video after the Atletico game, breaking down the tactical analysis of our clash against them. Hopefully it will be a victory for Real Madrid. I'm going to be posting a lot more videos on Patreon, also pre and post game, doing a podcast immediately after the game. So if you guys are not subscribed to my Patreon, it's going to be in the description. It helps me out a ton so that I can move into doing YouTube full time. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and Hala Madrid.